host, Cabal. I've poured my heart into this and I'm going to keep improving it every day until this is the best wallet tracking app in the business. So glad you're here, and it's private now. So just know that you guys got in at the right time, and I appreciate that you trusted me from day one and never left. So MUMU is a coin that I've held spot from sub 2 over here, and I've reloaded here, and I've reloaded at the highs as well. But the point is, I've been scalping it for the last 30 days on leverage, and it's been pretty easy to trade for the most part. So the way I'm looking at this zone here, it's basically an area for a swing trade, but I'm treating it as a scalp until proven otherwise. So the market has to tell me that this is the low and the low is in. Until then, I'm just scalping, So the way I'm viewing the range, there was a ton of liquidity here. So if I just grab this tool, you could see from that original low, none of these lows took out that previous low. So this was a ton of liquidity that just piled into the range. And I've been waiting for the external low right here to get nuked. That tells me that all participants were taken out. Anyone who was greedy and didn't take profits at the high, basically their stop got triggered over here. So that's the logic of why I got into a scalp potential swing last night. Again, I closed just because I know how the market is right now, and it's giving me down vibes still till 80k BTC. Not saying it'll go there, but I'm just getting that vibe. So scalp until swing. Now, the reason this area is interesting is because all the lows got taken out. So everyone who was net long got blasted on that last drop. Also, there was a 3-day imbalance right below it. So that has now been tagged. Again, it hasn't been filled, which is why I'm treating this as a scalp. So one of the things I usually anticipate when there's a larger high time frame imbalance inside that area of interest, a lot of the time what they'll do is they'll drive it in, encourage front side longs to commit their liquidity, and then they'll drive it again, and sometimes a third tap before actually leaving the zone of interest. So the idea is anyone who is trying to accumulate a larger position, they're not going to have the same price impact by going like market long here and then just buying like 1 trillion tokens and sending it in one candle back to 7. So the way it works, usually when big money is trying to scale in, they have to do it in a very sneaky way where they just create liquidity, they take liquidity, they engineer a little more in the zone, take it again, and basically it's a reallocation of stops. So the volume is changing hands. It's basically the same volume, but it's going into smart money's hands. And I'm usually looking for at least a 2 tap in the zone of interest. What I want to see is minimum half the imbalance get filled. Ideally, the whole imbalance gets filled. And then I get more and more confident adding more size as this imbalance gets completely rebalanced. So once that's backfilled and there's been several intraday or lower time frame liquidity raids in the range, then once the imbalance is filled, you can start to ladder in more aggressively, especially if price is telling you that, okay, the bottom is in, this looks like a bottoming structure, and then you have more confidence. But the idea behind this trade is now, with this massive pullback, so from the highs you had a 72% pullback. That's a massive discount for a cult coin, right? Holder account has been up only, right? 87,000 plus holders, even with this pullback. So that's telling me that in spite of price action coming down where you'd expect holder count to diminish dramatically, there's smart money opening fresh burner wallets on the way down, and every time there's a liquidation raid, a liquidity raid, their fresh wallet is accumulating people's stops. So that way it's not concentrated in one wallet, but also the holder count is going up, which looks good for the project. So let's say you're a guy with big money from down here. You don't want to accumulate 5% of the supply. It would really stand out to people that know on chain. And they would look at it as the supply concentration is too much in one guy's hands. So if price goes up, they could dump on everyone, and that scares away whales because they don't want to have a concentrated supply in one guy's hands that determines the future of a coin, right? So that being said, what they'll do is they'll have one main wallet that they accumulated down here, and then they'll open up like 20 different fresh wallets over here on whatever Soul Flare, it doesn't matter. But the point is, every time there's a raid, they're adding to their net position size. It's just being distributed over several different wallets. So I look for that a lot at the lows. Basically, if they keep tagging and rebalancing, backfilling this 3-day imbalance, what I want to see is a bunch of fresh wallets opening up with larger positions. If I see that, that tells me that there is some big smart money wallets that are accumulating in a fresh MUMU wallet at the lows, and then we're probably going to go higher. So that's the setup. Intraday, if this is a scalp setup, the way I treat it is you have all these failed swings on the way down, meaning the previous liquidity pool on the way down didn't get taken out. So that's open liquidity, open liquidity, open liquidity, open, open, all the way down. You get the point. But that usually drives the move up. So once the low gets in, my minimum target for the move up is going to be these highs. So there's a huge resting liquidity pool there at 5.6, and from these lows, assuming we rebalance half the 3-day, you're looking at 100% markup here. So what I want to do in this time frame over here is somehow get in on every 15 minute to 4 hour liquidity raid, and then just scalp, and then get out when I see weakness. And then, you know, like for instance, there's a breaker here. You could see it's, well, bearish order block, but it rejected 1, 2, 3, and then started coming down until they took that low. So if it did something like this, and I was in a scalp, and it came up, broke clean through that bearish order block, and then reclaimed it as support, this would become a breaker. And then what you could do is, if you took off half the size here on the way up, but then it does this exact inversion of that level, you can add the half back, or you could even add more size, because this level is now inverted, so this should be a protected low. So that's kind of my logic on how to trade potential high time frame lows, and then how to use it as a scalp until it becomes a swing. And then eventually, when it starts flipping structure like that on low time frame, you push it into the 4 hour time frame, and you look for a 4 hour structure to get flipped. For instance, this was the last up candle right here before nuking all these lows. So that was a bearish order block, right? Especially because you could see the liquidity to the left here got taken out, and this imbalance got tagged with that. So this is going to be a bearish order block on the higher time frame. And the idea is that would become a breaker on the 4 hour time frame once that gets inverted. So it all begins with a 15-hour inversion of this order block, and then you look for the higher time frame, the intraday inversion of this bearish order block, and then this starts to look more like a swing position as opposed to a scalp. So hopefully you guys see the logic in this. On Twitter, you could tag me if you see any of these charts or videos that I post in Telegram and you want more clarity. Just tag me in X, and I'll try my best to answer. All right, guys, enjoy your day.